Welcome back to Jungle Gap. Today I'm going to be solving the age-old question, which is how to win games when your team is either losing or just straight running it down. Just like the jinx I had in the game that we're going to review. As you are all probably aware of, these type of games are not uncommon. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the mentality and fundamentals that I use to consistently win games like these. It's important to understand that yes, there will be some harder or even unwinnable games. However, the learning point to this review is to give ourselves the best chance in every single game to have agency and be the difference. The goal being to even win 30 games out of 100 that we would previously have lost.
What's up everyone, I'm Coach Leo, also known as Babip. I've been a professional jungler for the past 6 years, played at Worlds 4 times, and have plenty of coaching experience. If you're interested in fast-tracking your learning and achieving your desired rank, book a private coaching session or join the community by heading over to the Jungle Gap Discord, which will be in the description below.
Okay, so first things first, jumping into the game now. I'm going to be going over the pregame checklist briefly because that's not the main point of this video, although it's still relevant. So I'm going to go through it briefly, but if you want to see more detailed reviews on pregame checklists, some of my other Inside the Mind of Challenger Jungler, it has that. So I'm going to quickly go over the pregame checklist right now, which is win conditions first, objectives and scaling. In the top lane matchup, we have Camille versus Ornn. And in this matchup, yes, the Ornn scaling is quite good. But at kind of 35 to 40 minutes, Camille with 5 to 6 items, she does just have the ability to kind of explode the enemy's nexus by split pushing. And what that means for me is that grubs may be something that is quite nice this game for me and can be a win condition for myself. So, you know, in terms of top, I still would give the scaling to Camille. In terms of like the split push scaling, yeah, Camille wins. In terms of the grouping scaling, I would say probably Ornn gives his team inherent scaling with his items. So it is pretty even, but I'm going to give it to Camille still. The jungle matchup, I'm going to give it to Viego. The mid lane matchup, slightly Talia favored in terms of scaling, but pretty irrelevant still. They kind of both do a similar job. And AD carry, we have Jinx. Support, even, whatever. Okay, so we see that the scaling is slightly out on our side, seeing as Jinx, you know, we have the Jinx and we have the Viego. Also a really, really great kind of front to back reset comp. And if Camille can kind of have side lane threat and hold on in the side lane, we win the 4v4 extremely hard. So in terms of objectives, yes, grubs are nice, but dragons are still going to be better. That's just my thought process going into this game. Next question is, where can I get a kill? I'm thinking about top. I could potentially kill early, but after Ornn hits, you know, he builds some armor items, it's going to be incredibly hard to kill, and I should just leave my Camille to scale. In the mid lane matchup, you know, we have an RE charm, so burning Talia's flash pre-6 would not be a bad idea, because after RE hits level 6, ult into charm is a free kill. So going mid is not bad, but I want to be using more so my spare tempo on mid and kind of just seeing out how the lanes play. And then in the bot lane, of course, you know, 70% of games nowadays, you're going to be pathing around bot. Because, you know, it is an Alistar versus a Maokai, double melee all-in lane. Huge gank setup. So when we're talking about where can we get a kill, we're thinking about volatility and gank setup. And, you know, these melee supports have insane gank setup. So, you know, I'm going to be pathing around bot this game. And last question, the jungle matchup, the Viego versus Xin Zhao. The main thing I'm thinking here is that, you know, he could potentially invade, of course. You know, in this kind of jungle matchup, it really is whoever starts the buff, whoever gets the jump kind of wins. So if I find him on red and he uses all his abilities, that's kind of how a lot of jungle matchups play. Whoever starts the buff and uses their abilities on the buff tends to lose. So his game plan is probably going to be just like mine, playing around bot side. And potentially I'm thinking he could invade me. So that's kind of the direction I'm giving myself in this game already. So the first thing I'm looking to do with that information from the checklist is I want to find out where the Xin is starting. And this is something I would recommend you do every single game, unless the enemy champions are kind of scary. Like if you're versing a Darius, if you're versing, you know, champions that it's a little bit like hard to walk in here and get this ward. Also pinging your team to help you get this ward is important, but essentially finding out where the enemy jungler starts is a very, very crucial part of being able to track him and being able to, as you will see, punish him for any kind of wasted tempo that he does. Any kind of time wasting that he does, you'll have his camp timers literally exactly. And that's going to be very important for you to snowball and have plays to make, you know, to capitalize on him making mistakes. So another fundamental we're going to be looking at, which is extremely important, especially the jungle, of course, is the map control. So as you can see here, constantly just taking little peeks at each lane to see how they're going, to update myself on if I'm going to skip camps, if I'm going to full clear. So here I see that he started the Raptor camp. And so I know his exact path now. And the reason why we need to have map and camera control and map control is because generally, especially on the Wolves and the Raptors, after you hit level 3, it's very common that, you know, level 3 ganks open up. And the reason why we want to update ourselves on all these lanes is because we have multiple options here. So we could potentially gank top. If it was guaranteed, I would gank top. But of course, Xin Zhao is also top side. So this play is not very good. Mid lane, is it okay to go mid and kind of burn his flash? Yes. Potentially. You know, we're updating our... So we have a lot of options here after 3 camps. But in this game, to me, nothing has really screamed out to be high percentage yet. So what do we do when nothing is high percentage? We don't want to force any plays. We simply just keep full clearing. And, you know, we know exactly where Xin is. He's on either red or Krugs right now. So I'm having a look. I think a mistake that I make here is I needed to look bot a little bit earlier. So while you're running from the Wolves to the Raptors, I think I was a little bit too preoccupied with what Xin was doing, but I needed to look bot. It probably was unlikely I was going to impact it, but still, you know, there was a chance that maybe Jinx lived and she's running away, and then I can make it there. And as well as the fundamentals that I'm explaining, something else I'm going to be talking about more is, you know, in games where your team is losing, inting, whatever they're doing, it's extremely important that you keep your composure, you keep your agency, and you just wait for opportunities to present themselves. So the worst thing you can do when you're losing is feel like you're losing, so you have to force yourself to do something. People will make mistakes all the time, the enemy team. People always throw. So you're essentially just waiting for that to happen. And so we see here, you know, Jin steps up a bit too far, trying to push this wave in. And so simply, you know, I didn't skip camps here to try and help my bot lane. I'm basically playing on my timer. And now is the chance to gank bot. Just go for the person that, you know, don't try and flash. Go for the free kill, essentially. Don't try and flash past and kill Jin. Just go for the free kill. So here, Alistar is a free kill. And looking for the Jin dive, he burns flash. Again, I'm expecting Xin Zhao to be somewhere here, so I want to use the Alistar. I want to use my Alistar to, you know, combo him and beat him in the 1v1. And again, you know, I didn't dive bot there because, of course, Xin could have been there. If I dive there, I lose my agency and I compromise my game. Even though maybe I get a kill, it's not worth it. And then, you know, simply wait for opportunity to present itself and we get the Jin kill. Now Xin shows mid, so we know exactly what he's done again. He's done 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are massively ahead of him in tempo. We know that all of these camps are up. So should we go and take them right now? No, of course not. Because his bot lane is coming back, obviously, with a tempo. I'm low HP. And so, you know, even though we can't punish him right now, you will see in the future when we are able to punish him. Because, you know, him being behind of tempo, he can't simply just make up for that. I'm going to be ahead of him in tempo now. And I will be able to attack him on the next round. I'll be able to attack him somewhere on his topside camps because he has to spend time clearing these. Or he'll have to do something extremely inefficient. You know, obviously the correct play for him here would have been to go back to his Raptors. Right? Because, you know, whenever you start Raptors, it's extremely important that you and that you're back there at 4 minutes. That's the whole purpose of really starting Raptors, is so you get a better first clear. So here I'm thinking, okay, well, he crossed to bot side. So he's definitely on his bot side camps right now. And so simply I'm just going to run straight to his Raptors and take it. If he was here, you know, he would have bought whatever. That's still okay, because that at least confirms to me what he's also done here, right? So I'm constantly tracking the enemy jungle. Small thing here as well, I'm going to quickly go back, is that I'm pinging where I think he is. So this is also a very important fundamental. Ping where you think the enemy jungler is. So if he's not ganky mid and he's not at these Raptors, he has to be on his blue side. So not only does it help you to ping the enemy jungle, but it also obviously helps your team, because your team is completely clueless to where Xin Zhao is. Now, something interesting happens here where, you know, he probably expects, because this game is, you know, Master Tier, Master Plus, GM, it's a little bit high elo, so, you know, he's expecting that I took his Raptors because he wasn't there on time. And so he goes for mine. Maokai defends it for me, which is really nice. And the Jinx dies again. So Jinx dies. Now, this is where, you know, that pregame checklist comes in, and it gives your game a little bit of direction. It's like, okay, I want to play around bot, I want to play for dragons, but now that my Jinx is perma-inting, I'm just going to flip my pathing now, and I'm going to be pathing towards the top side. Remember that, you know, doing the Raptors and then up to the top side and leaving this up is good, not only because it's hard for Xin Zhao to take. It's you know, these camps are always the riskiest. But also, you know, next round it's going to be in my cycle to clear to top. But as I was saying, okay, bot lane, Jinx is inting. What do we do? What do we do when people are inting? Well, you have to play with the cards that are dealt to you, right? And that's really the skill and the difference between good junglers, great junglers, and, you know, canyon level jungling. Doing the best you can with what you're given. You know, the way I like to explain it is that, you know, I would probably win 70 out of the 100 games that Canyon wins, but Canyon would win 95 of them, right? And so that's kind of the difference, and that's what we're trying to aim for. We're trying to bring that number up, essentially. We're trying to bring up that, okay, well, usually I would lose 100% of these games when my team's inting, but if I can just win 30 of them, that's going to drastically improve my win rate. And obviously these kind of fundamentals and this mentality applies to even when your team isn't inting. The fundamentals and the mentality is the exact same. Okay, so I see Xin here now, and I'm a little bit confused, which means that I saw him at my Raptors here, you know, he went back. He probably based, same as me. I took his Raptors and then I crossed and then I cleared up, and he probably just based and went to his Krugs. Or he took one more camp and then based and went to Krugs, or he wasted time, who knows. You know, it's also not a great thing to assume what he did unless you have guaranteed information, but I was surprised when I saw him here. You know, take his flash. Obviously, I couldn't flash follow him, but even if I could, no, I would have flash followed him because I had Ari. But unfortunately, I didn't have flash. So he gets out there. We see him going to the bot side now. And another fundamental here is that, you know, pulling the camps out and making it so you hit the camp so you can go to the next play quicker, right? So if I killed the camp in here, you know, this amount of distance walking here to here, it actually will make the difference in some games. So, you know, fundamental, just pull camps towards where you're going to next. And for me, I'm going to mid next because I see there's some action happening mid. Position up. Okay, they get the kill. Walk over here just in case Xin goes in. And nothing. Okay, so instantly back out, have a look top. Top starts trading as well. I think I make a mistake here. Yeah, okay, his Krugs were gone. So that's what he was doing in that time where I wasn't sure what he was doing. Trying to hover this Camille. Another lane dying. Another lane getting solo killed. And that's fine. Not going to try and, you know, waste my time trying to kill this Ornn, right? Don't try and overcompensate for something that's already happened. Okay, it's already lost. I can't kill the Ornn here. So my time is always better spent doing something else. Don't feel pressured, even when your team is inting, to int with them or to compromise your game, like I've been saying. Keep your agency. Your moment to strike will present itself. And for me, it does this game, which we'll be getting to shortly. Okay, so Xin shows again going bot side. So my immediate reaction is, I can't make it towards this bot play, right? The play will already end before I make it there. So there's no point trying to like, oh, I need to save my bot lane. This is my This is the lane I want to play around. This is the win. That's over now. Now we need to adapt. Okay, I can't make it to the bot play. Accept reality. I can't be there. So I do the best I can with the cards I've been dealt. I take his top side. This is also a great reason why mute all is really, really good, because, you know, here, this is probably where you start getting spam pinged, right? This is where you start getting like, you know, your laners have no idea what is even going on. Why is my jungler not bot? Okay, just mute and play your own game. That's all. That's why mute all is such a powerful tool. So I'm taking his top side here. The great thing about me counter jungling here is that, you know, you would expect him to also counter jungle me here, which I still think he should. He should at least check. Because what checking does for him is if I'm here, he could just back out, but then he knows his top side is alive. But if I'm not here, then he can confirm that I'm probably on his top side. So yes, he should take my top side here, but there are some cases where, you know, he will still feel afraid. He has no idea where I am to actually take my red side. And again, is top gankable? I'm panning, I'm seeing, I'm getting information, coming up with a really, really quick decision. Okay, not gankable. Even though my Camilla is ult, I'm not willing to waste the resource and the time to gank. Okay, again, so Jinx is dying again, but what just happened here? What can I take from this situation? Well, the Jhin just flashed. So maybe an opportunity is presenting itself here, right? That's what I'm thinking. Okay, Jhin has no flash. My Krogs are still up, so I'm not sure exactly what he's taken yet, because he also still hasn't done Dragon. And so because the Xin Zhao has not done Dragon yet, which I expected him to do here, when I'm taking his top side, the trade was the bot kill and the Dragon, right? That's what I'm willing to trade. Obviously, he can't get the bot kill, the Dragon, and my bot side camps. He can't get all three for me using tempo, just getting his camps, right? So thinking about how much time he has to do, you know, what he has to do. So he hasn't done Dragon yet, which is why I'm thinking, okay, my red side is probably gone. So again, I'm not actually sure what the Xin Zhao was doing. You know, I have 2 levels on him. And this was a little bit of a mistake by me. I should have played a little bit more to minimize here. This could have been really, you know, this could have been lethal for me if I got comboed properly by them. So that was a huge mistake. And you really have to, in these games, right, when your team is losing, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. You do need to play above and beyond. But I am saying that this is what you should strive for. And so because he hasn't done my red side yet, he hasn't done Dragon, I have no idea what he was doing. Like I always say with Dragons, you need to try and make the enemy work for it. So I know that I'm kind of strong here. You know, I had 2 levels on the Xin. So I really want to make them work for it. So even if that's just coming in here, clearing some vision. And, you know, I kind of realized a little bit late that Talia had move and my Ahri had no ult. So in hindsight, this was not a great contest. You know, I should have just done my Raptors, Wolves, and Gromp and pared into the Grubs here. But it ends up working out for me because the enemy. So here I'm like, okay, well, I think this is probably a mistake here because, as I said, Talia's moving. So I should have backed out here earlier. Shouldn't have gone for this play. However, the enemy overextend. The thing about the Dragon is it's slowing the Xin Zhao. It's hurting the Xin Zhao. So I realized that here, this is the opportunity that's been presented. The Alistar goes too far, right? And I know that I know that, you know, because I play Viego and I have quite a high champion mastery with him, I know exactly that if I can get this Alistar reset, I can hard carry this fight. So I do everything in my power to kill him. And then as soon as I have this Alistar reset, you know, I know that I'm really, really strong here. And then I can hard carry this situation. So the main thing, stay composed. Don't force plays even though your team is inting. Wait for the opportunity to present itself and then you can carry. So right now I haven't really done anything besides macro, right? But this is where I will say that your micro is going to be important here. You can't just have macro. You can't just have theory. You need to be able to have a high enough skill on your champion to be able to execute on the micro. So this is where, you know, you've done the theory side. You've put yourself in a very good position. Now it's about how well can you execute that? How well can you carry the game? How well can you be the difference in the game? And this is where it's really important to be really kind of good on the micro side of things. You know, you can't just have macro. And so, you know, everything leads up to this fight. which now the game has been completely swung on its head, right? It's been completely like 180'd. Now I'm in an extremely good position to carry this game. You know, I didn't want to stay for more of his blue side there because Alistair was coming, tempo. I want to play for these grubs. I don't know if I shouldn't have gone for these raptors here, but of course, you know, I was still thinking about what to do next. You know, I'm even communicating here. I'm telling my support what to do pretty much, because still, even though my Jinx is inting, I still don't want to give up bot side completely. And I know that the top 3v3 right now I'm strong enough, so my support want to do the right play, which is move to Rift. But I know right now in the 3v3 that we win. So all he needs to do is kind of match the Alistar. If the Alistar moves, he moves. If the Alistar doesn't move, then he needs to play to, you know, just stay with Jinx. So once you also get to this point, you can also start to become an in-game leader, and you can kind of shock off for your team and tell people what to do. Obviously, some cases, some people are not going to listen to you still, like this Jinx is never going to listen to me, right? But some of your teammates will, and that's another way that you can really be the difference in these games. So, you know, I'm micromanaging my Alistar. It would have been really bad if he moved here. Like I said, we already win. And now he wouldn't be bot, and now the Jinx would just be getting dove, and that would not, even though my Jinx is inting, that would be very, very bad for the game. Because Jin would just get too much. He would get 5 plates. So we can see everyone's making a play for the bot side. Again, I can't make it there. So I'm still watching it though. And now, another important fundamental here is that, you know, my Ahri is acting as the jungler. So initially I wanted to go mid, but then I realized that this play may go for a while. And I think that I realize, yeah, okay, Tilly is moving as well. So now I'm doing a little bit of X Factor. Okay, I see that they are low. So I know I just said that I couldn't make it to bot, right? Which I can't. I can't make it for this initial dive. But I see that my Ahri is moving here, and I see that Talia is moving. So if Talia was pushing mid, like this, I would simply just defend this and hold the tower and make sure Talia can't get, you know, as much damage, and that this wave is still caught, and then at least Ahri can catch the bot wave or do whatever she wants, right? So it's also maximizing the resources and making sure no waves are kind of going to waste. And so here initially I was thinking, you know, I want to cover for mid, but then I realized that Talia was actually moving bot. And I also know that Talia had no flash from the previous fight. So I'm kind of looking, this is also where once you get ahead, once you get fed, you need to make some kind of impact. Yes, you can still full clear, it's still fine. But this is really where you want to push to make the difference, right? This is really where I'm looking to make the difference. So I see Xin is low here, and I'm assuming now I've gone over wards. Okay, so my reward for that bot play is, you know, a grump. Right? And I'm being really annoying here. I'm being really annoying to their team. I'm giving a lot of pressure. And now all of a sudden, right, my Jinx died bot. But now somehow we have push here and push here just because of that pressure that I applied. So it's really important. Yes, when you can't make it to a play, don't try and run across the map to make it there. But if you see some new information, which I did, you know, the game state updated, then you can cross, and then it kind of becomes match or trade, where you really want to match the enemy when you're stronger, which I am stronger. So in this game, I want to constantly match the enemy. Okay, no, Talia did not use flash before. Okay, she just used flash just now. Okay, so yeah, small win. Talia flash. Should I ulti after her here, right? Should I ulti after her and try and kill her? No, of course not. Take the small win. Their team is coming. So we get all this control on the bot side, and now I go back to camps. Okay, Jinx dies again, right? Who cares? And now, what did that play open up for me here? The Talia. Look at the body language. Is she going to go for this next wave? Of course she is. So I'm posturing up here. And so that play before has led me to, you know, I'm also making sure Ahri, I'm telling her to stay here. I'm also micromanaging Ahri here. So I'm telling my team what to do. No flash, free kill. And so the game is still very, very difficult. I think I should have based there. I ran across the map. So, you know, I'm not even playing perfectly, right? I'm just playing to a good enough level. And again, I'm going to say it again. Staying composed, keeping your agency, making sure you don't compromise your own game, and just take opportunities when they present themselves. Because guess what? The Xin Zhao is going to int like this. Someone's going to int like this. You just need to be ready there to catch it. You just need to be having good enough awareness to be able to see those opportunities. Look, inting again. So am I the one who's doing any of like the risky plays? Am I diving the Talia bot? Am I diving the Jhin in the first round? No, I'm just literally running around the map, farming, and having good awareness, and being strong and being the difference. Now I'm checking camps. You know, I'm thinking here, okay, Rift Herald or Dragon. Okay, now we really, really want to contest the Dragon because I am really strong. Talia no flash. I'm pinging it. I'm saying it. Typing it. And you can see the amount of impact that I'm having, even with, okay, my Ahri is doing okay, but even with an inting Jinx, you know, top is obviously just losing, but, you know, she's just farming. And now again, because of this pick, I get all of his top side. Some more opportunities, some more fights that I'm being the difference on. I'm thinking about flashing here, and I do, and boom. Now how does the game look? From that picture that we saw before, now how does the game look? And that was all of my agency, and all of that all came from me not losing my agency and being in a position where I can make the difference, be the difference. Look, and now when you're this far ahead, you do whatever you want. You sculpt the game to however you want. Right? You can go wherever you want. If you want to play for Dragon, you play for it. If you want to, you know, kill them more, do the biggest play possible, then you do that. And this is really what it's about. And this is going to win you so many more games than you think that were just lost. And this is what happens when you see like the challenger players having a 99% win rate in bronze and gold and whatever. This is why. This is essentially the reason why. They don't feel, you know, they need to put themselves on, you know, your gold teammate pings you, hey, come gank this. Of course, a challenger player will never think, oh, that's going to be a good idea, right? He's going to make the decision for himself. And he's going to always have his best interest in mind. Which, if you want to be consistent and carry games, this is the mentality that you're going to need. So I'm being very aggressive here. You know, I have 2 items. I'm insanely strong. So I'm commanding my team what I want. I'm being very vocal with pings, right? I was a bit curious for them to be there. And, you know, Viego identity, I just want to get the reset. Even though the Xin Zhao was inting, you know, he's not very strong at all. I just want to get that reset. As soon as I get that reset, it's pretty much wraps. It's over. So I combine my fundamentals. I combine my champion mastery and my knowing my identity extremely well. And I combine a mentality of, you know, staying composed, even when things are going bad, and keeping my agency and not compromising. This is the result of, in this game, this is the kind of like the proof of the result. Just these 3 things. Once you pair them together, it's an extremely strong combination. Okay, my team's inting here. Do I int here more, right? So I need to really make sure I don't die here as well. So my team, again, my team overextends past the objective, right? Take his flash. I'm not even going after him, but my team is, right? I'm just looking for camps here already. I'm looking for camps into Dragon. My team goes here to int. Of course, I'll still take the free kill if it's there, right? I'll still take this free kill. But will I die? Will I die for it? No, of course not. Just going to simply back out. I am looking for some, again, for that X factor play, which I find it here. You know, still looking for these plays is still important. So it's that fine line between being creative, having a bit of X factor, and not inting. How do we tell the difference? Well, you're just going to have to play the game more. And you know, test your limits as well is always a good thing. Okay, so I do end up inting here, right? So that's the fine line that I crossed. And it's definitely okay to and I misplay my stun Q and die. So there is a fine line between you know, inting with your team and being creative. And that's something that I'm not able to, you know, teach exactly in each specific situation what to do. But the fact that don't lose that X factor. So don't int with your team, but don't lose this. Don't lose this ability to make these plays. Don't lose the ability to, like, yes, of course, you can go dragon here, of course. But again, how much of an impact do you need to make to win this game is something that you need to think about. And testing your limitations is something that I always tell the people that I coach it's not wrong. Just don't expect to, you know, win every game off of it. I definitely should have gone for the dragon and the gromp. This was a mistake. This was too much on the X factor side. And so a lot of this game is just more or less of this fighting. But I think the main points that I've made is, you know, watching the rest of the game out, it's pretty much just the fighting, being the difference in the team fights. I'm not going to go through every single team fight. There was some losses. This game was still very, very close. I think that my team fighting was the thing that actually let me down here. So the micro was the actual, I set myself very well in this game, but the team fight micro is actually somewhere where I had to improve this game. And yeah, do end up winning the game here. So thank you all for watching. If you were able to take something from this video, leave a comment below. If you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like to see from me, leave them in below, and I'll see you all next time.